Okay, you've got 4 booms up, and you've left entrances where a dancer can run full tilt into that wing without hurting themselves. So you turn on your first light, and it's a disaster. It's shining out onto the carpet, it's shining into the eyes of the audience, so naturally, you do a shutter cut. But the problem now is that if you have a dancer downstage, which you almost always will, she's not lit. So we realize that our boom is in the wrong place, and we need to move that. So we move the boom all the way downstage, and we tilt the light back. And we run one edge of our beam parallel along the carpet without putting it on the carpet, and cut the other off at the cyc. This lights our dancer and leaves a safe entrance and exit for them. Now the same thing is true for the upstage. Again, we move our boom all the way up, we tilt it toward downstage, and we do the same shutter cut, but in inverse. Now this one's a little challenging because the light's going to want to shine onto the cyc, so you may need to use a donut to keep that light going only where you want it to go. So what about our mid lights? Well, this one, if it's where it is blocking the entrance, so that's no good. We can slide it down here, or we can move it up here. The problem with moving it up here is we create a whole other problem. That curtain is acting like a shutter. So when we turn that light on, we now can't get full stage coverage. It's just shining on the back of the curtain. It hides the light from the audience, but the dancer isn't lit. So we move it upstage. This gives us full coverage for the dancer on either side, and still leaves an entrance for the dancer to come in and out. Same thing here. And again, a safe entrance in. So, what are our actual shutter cuts? We've got a light upstage left tilted upwards. We've got a mid, another mid, again leaving entrances downstage, and then another light downstage. Entrances here, 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 and here. Our upstage light shines across the cyc, possibly using a donut to keep the light off of the cyc. Our second mid shoots out straight, but we shutter cut back to make sure that it's not on the cyc. Same thing here. And then the downstage is the inverse of the upstage, where we keep it off the carpet but run parallel across the edge. Put them all together, and this is what we get. Then we do the same thing on the other side. One of the challenges of side lighting is creating these ovals of light on the floor, and some choreographers don't like that. What they want is to make it look like the dancers are lit and make it look like they're floating across the stage, so their bodies are lit but the floor isn't. Now, in some cases, that's impossible. If you're shining straight down, you're going to hit the floor. But in other cases, it's not. So this is how you deal with it. Okay, we've got a dance floor, a boom pole, and a dancer, and we will add a tip light, a mid, and a shin. And each of these lights will be zoomed out to 50 degrees so that we can get as much stage coverage as possible, especially with respect to its width, upstage and downstage. We don't want narrow beams going across, we want to cover the stage in side light. So our tip light, we will focus such that one adjacent side of the beam is parallel along the floor and the other is shining down on the floor. And this is one of those cases where you're going to see the light. We want to cover as much of the stage as possible, so when the dancer moves into the wings, they're still lit. Our mid light is nice and high, we've got lots of headroom, but it's all over the floor. So we lift it up by lifting up our bottom shutter cut and cutting it back across the other side of the stage so there's no light on the Marley. Now her feet aren't lit, but that's what the shin is for. So when we bring up our shin, again, we are all over the floor. And this time a shutter cut would only create a similar problem. So we realize that our light is in the wrong place. We need to lower our light. So we bring the light all the way down, and much like with the corners, we tilt it upward this time, shoot one of our adjacent sides parallel across the floor, and then upward. And now, no matter how far in she moves, her feet and shins are still lit. And we can maneuver our bottom shutter here to keep it just off of the floor. And once she moves in, yes, her upper body isn't lit, but that's what our mid will cover. And if we need more, we can put the tip on, and that pretty much covers the stage. So just to recap, we have a shin that's shooting parallel across the floor but up off the floor. We have a mid that has a bottom shutter cut up off the floor shooting directly across. And then we have a tip that's shooting down, covering as much of the stage as we can with our 50-degree light. That's it.